Search for you in all the way. I search for you in love, but I never find you. I never find you. You seek for me to worship you in truth, 'cause only you know me. I know that you know me. Springs of water welling up, eternity within my heart. Now I know I'm yours and you are mine. No longer seeking for my love, your healing brought me back to life. I freely come to say, here am I. Here am I, oh Lord. Here am I, oh Lord. Here am I, oh Lord. Here am I. Here am I, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Here am I, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Here am I, oh Lord. Oh Lord, here am I.
In this series of lectures, I'll try to tackle with you the problem of time, what I call the mystery of time. I've published a book on this topic, which was first edited in England and then in the United States, Crossroads, and finally in Egypt. The title is God and the Mystery of Time, All His Grace. Maybe people would wonder why to speak about time. Time is so evident for each of us, and it is a mystery, time. And I would answer to you, if I ask you what is time, would you be able to tell me what is time? You would be very embarrassed, I'm sure. Embarrassed because we are so immersed, plunged in time, that we do not realize what it is exactly, as you would ask a bird to speak about the air in which the bird is moving, or a fish in the sea. You would ask him, what is the sea? What is water? He would say, water, I never saw water. I don't know what is water. He is so much involved, immersed in water, that he does not know what is water. So are we, so much are we in time that we don't have any idea of what it could be. A great philosopher, modern philosopher, Heidegger, his first and main work was Sein und Zeit, being and time. And he started a very deep study on time, which I am endowed to him about some aspects of it. So I would say that to know time supposes and implies that you have a certain distance between you and the subject you are dealing with. And since we speak about time, it means that we have a distance, actually. We are not totally immersed in time, like the mineral, like the plant, like the animal. They live in time and have no distance between themselves and the time in which they live. But for man, it's different. There is a distance, and this distance makes time knowable to us we can know what is time. I would make a comparison. Let's take a man who has always lived in Egypt. He does not know Egypt. He is so much involved and immersed in Egypt that he does not know his country. Actually, myself, I started knowing Egypt when I traveled outside, and the more I was out of Egypt, the more I began to know Egypt compared to Lebanon, compared to France, compared to the United States, compared to the different countries I visited. Little by little, Egypt has taken certain relief, some form, and I started understanding it. So is time. We have a kind of distance between us and time, a kind of transcendence or transcendency. And this transcendence appears in what we call memory. Memory is the capacity to outgrow time, to get behind or above time. When we are above time, like a plane which is above a country, the plane can see what was behind it and forward to it. So is man. He has the ability to look to time from above, like a man in the plane. And this is memory, and this is planning. We cannot plan unless we are above time. An animal does not plan his life. He lives the present moment. He sticks to it. Actually, a consciousness in man means a distance between he and himself. In evolution, this consciousness in the mineral is so tiny that one can say that it does not exist. But with the plant, this consciousness starts growing, and with the animal, it grows more and more in the process of evolution, as Teilhard de Chardin has pointed. And with man, consciousness explodes. You no longer have a soul in a body, but a body in a soul. The soul explodes from every part, and the soul becomes what we call a spirit. The spirit is a soul which has attained a dimension of infinity. So a man is not a soul in a body, but a tiny body in a soul which comprehends the whole universe, I would say. So this sheds a light on what we call time. I quoted Heidegger on the philosophical level. I would quote Einstein, which everybody knows his theory of relativity, the time as relative to speed. And we could take an example just to figure out. If you take a few kitties, small cats, what we call a kitty, and or a kitten, sorry. If you take a few kittens, and you take one of them in a rocket, and the rocket goes as much as it reaches the speed of light, or almost. After 1 year of time, the kitten in the rocket would remain a kitten as it is, whereas his brothers and sisters remaining on Earth would have become cats. So the speed of the rocket made the kitten remains as it was, but the cats on the earth, the kittens on the earth have become real cats. So just to tell you that time is a relative concept, and we will discover that more and more along our meetings together. Time can be measured quantitatively or qualitatively. The calendar is the recount and the account of time in the quantitative way, the same with the clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So each hour is the same as the preceding one and the following one. There is no difference between 1 hour and the next and the next. This is what we call quantitative time. You can measure it. You can measure it. But when we come to the human aspect of time, or the spiritual aspect of time, or the time of consciousness, it's totally different. An hour is not an hour, no. It can be 10 hours, it can be 10 days, it can be 10 years, and it can be just a few seconds. The extension of time has no meaning on the spiritual and human level. A French poet called Baudelaire was saying, I am 30 years old, but you can tell that I am 90 years old, because every minute of my time I lived it 3 times more. 3 minutes in one. 3 minutes in one means that I'm not 30 years old, I'm 90 years old. I would say the same each time. Time is concentrated. It's a question of concentration. The more you live intensively time, the more time becomes immeasurable. You cannot measure it. We will come again to this concept of time as extensive and intensive. When we attend a movie, a beautiful movie, you lose a sense of time. You are totally immersed in this movie, this story, in this scenario. You are fascinated. And then time, you forget about time. Like somebody living a very deep experience, like in love. In love, you forget about time. If you are with your girlfriend and at each moment you look to your watch, it means that you are bored. But if you forget about time, all of a sudden you see the sun rise, you say, already? We met half an hour ago. No, it was not far ago. It was 6 hours ago. So time is an extensive concept. It's a movable concept. And this is why it touches our deepest life. To know about time is to know about man. To know about time is to know about oneself. There is a wisdom in time, and time cannot be measured, whether by the calendar or by the clock. No, time is a question of consciousness, is a question of intensity, is a question of quality. And as Baudelaire said, I have lived 90 years in 30 years. And some people live in 1 year a whole lifetime. Yes. And the secret of life is the secret of concentration. Being able to live the fullness of the moment, of the present, uh, which gives time all its value, all its power, all its intensity. This is the secret. And since we speak about the mystery of time, it means that time is not an evident concept. And in dealing with time, in tackling this subject together, we learn a lot and be able to maximize our life so that we can live it to the full.
I search for you in all the way, search for you in love, but I never find you. I never find you. You seek for me to worship you in truth, 'cause only you know me. I know that you know me. Springs of water welling up, eternity within my heart. Now I know I'm yours and you are mine. No longer seeking for my life, your healing brought me back to life. I freely come to say, here am I.